not exactly sure if this will work. I'm not building a container house anymore. Welcome to Building a Dream. I'm Jasmine and I'm living alone off-grid in the Australian bush. Since I bought this land, I've been working towards creating a homestead and building a shipping container house as an owner-builder. It's winter and I've spent the last 2 months fighting the rain trying to build my container house and dreaming of warmer times. So I'm going to treat myself this week and build something exciting. I used to love having baths before I moved off-grid and I've been dreaming of building one in the open air since I moved here. So the time has finally come and I'm going to build a beautiful wood fire outdoor bath on a deck using an old rainwater tank and recycled pallets. I wanted this to be a simple, straightforward build using materials that I already had laying around so I didn't have to fork out too much money. I picked up this old rainwater tank a while ago from a salvage yard and although it's not very long, I thought it would make the perfect little bath. If you've seen my other videos, you'll know I love a project using recycled pallets, so I knew I couldn't go wrong using them to make a little deck for the bath, which is what I started building first. This deck was extremely simple to put together. I used a total of 3 pallets to make the deck. I started by using my pallet buster to remove every second plank on 2 of the pallets. I then removed all the planks on the 3rd pallet. In the areas where I removed the planks on the first 2 pallets, I replaced them with 2 planks so that there'd be narrower gaps on the decking. By using the pallet buster, I was able to remove the planks and keep the nails straight so that I can easily place them where I want them to go and hammer them in using the old nails that are already in the planks. This means I didn't need any extra nails and it saved a lot of time denailing all the planks. I also added a plank on each end of the deck to give it a nicer finish. Once I was done, I only had 3 bits of timber left from the 3 pallets. With my decking completed, I gave it a good sand to prep it for varnish. I also selected 4 timber posts that I had left from building the bracing for my house footings and gave them a little sand. I found these long planks that I had left over from building my pond jetty, so I think I'm going to sand them as well because I would like to make some kind of half wall to go with the deck and outdoor bath. So I want to have them varnished and ready to go if I've got time to make a wall. I'm making a couple of posts that I can attach to stakes for my wall. I'm using 2 pallets nailed together to give it extra strength and then cut in half the 2 posts. I'm applying a marine grade varnish in a spray gun to the decking and to the planks. I know I'm making a massive mess, but I'm cutting all these walls out, so I thought it didn't matter too much. So they've got 1 coat, I'm going to give them a 2nd coat when they've dried. I've removed some of the pallets and placed more in so that the decking isn't so far apart. I'm charring my posts in the campfire to help protect them from termites and rot. While they're charring, I can go do another coat of varnish on the decking and the timber pieces. The posts are nice and charred, so they're ready to go down to the site with me so I can start prepping the area. I've picked a nice little hidden area among the grass trees that's also near the outdoor bathroom I built for my guests. I'm just raking the area to get rid of any leaves, gum nuts and sticks. Bringing the decking down to the site so I can mark out exactly where the posts need to go. I'm hoping to continue evolving this area in the future to include a couple of rainwater tanks and a shower area so it can be a complete outdoor bathroom. Where do I want my deck? My property is sloped, which I'm actually really pleased about since I'm creating gravity-fed water systems, but it also means for this project I need to do some serious levelling. Even though it's winter and the ground is very wet, my soil is clay and rock, so digging past the layer of dead leaves can be very tough. But if I can dig 16 footings for my house, I can dig 8 post holes for a tiny deck. With all my holes dug, I can start levelling in my posts and compacting the ground underneath them using the actual post as a tamper. Of course, the rain couldn't hold off for the last couple of hours of daylight, so I had to finish securing the deck in the rain. After I tampered all the post holes and made sure the posts were level and the deck sat correctly on top of the post, I went to go get materials to make some natural cement. My second last chicken recently passed, so my last little chickie has been hanging out with me and following me around everywhere. The rain actually gave me a hand here, so I didn't have to use too much water. I used clay from my land, soil, straw and water and mixed it to create a cement-like consistency. I poured the concrete in and finished it with some topsoil. I screwed in brackets to secure the two sections of decking together, and I used angle brackets to secure the decking to the posts. That's day one wrapped with the deck completed, and it's ready for its wood-fired tub in the morning. It's day 2 and I'm getting stuck into making the bath straight away, after I test the stability of the tank. I saw this mini oil drum in a salvage yard and I thought it was cute, so I grabbed it and I'm going to use it for the fire pit.
Let's go!
First things first, I need to use an angle grinder to grind off the top and the bottom from the oil drum to make my fire pit. Oh, I also have this rainwater tank that I plan to set up on a stand near the wood-fired bathtub to collect rainwater for it. Just a safety precaution, always know what's inside an oil drum before you cut or grind it. You don't want to create sparks if there's been any combustible materials in there, it's really dangerous. This one's friendly. When you use a grinding disc instead of a cutting disc, you grind off the joints smoothly so that you don't have to smooth the edges. Yuck! I learnt this trick when I made 16 footing forms for my container house. It comes out like this. With the top and the bottom off, I'm going to spray paint the drum to make it look a bit nicer and blend in with the environment.
Got this fire resistant paint that's meant for fireplaces. I'm not exactly sure if this will work.
Bear with me because I'm going to try out my luck with the drum method on the rainwater tank too.
It's working.
You see the lip of it? How it comes apart when you grind it, but I think there's two sections because I think this is being like placed and folded under. So there's like a bottom bit and then that top bit.
Worked. Time to have a look inside. Ah, that's gross. Not bad, not bad.
After giving the tank a well-deserved clean, I gave her a glow up with some fresh silicone and white waterproofing paint that I have for my shipping containers. I'm using copper tubing to connect my fire and bathtub. It's 3/4 of an inch thick, but it's not very long, so I'm using this straight piece of copper and cutting it in half to make the tubing longer and easier to connect to the bathtub.
That was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
I'm going to make a flat base for my fire pit to sit on, so I'm just raking and leveling the area. I'm just using bricks that I have laying around as a foundation for the fire pit to keep it off the ground, nothing fancy.
Done.
I'm coiling my copper tubing to fit inside of the drum. I'm being careful not to crush the tubing. This took a little bit of fiddling around in the rain to get the ends to face the right way, but I got there in the end. I'm using a hole saw to make 2 holes in the drum for the copper tubing. I was going to use these to secure the copper tubing, but it's not budging. These are all the parts that I've got to connect it.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Then all I have to do is connect the copper tubing to the straight pipe with the couplings.
There we go.
And then drill 2 holes in the tank. I used a step drill. 1 hole needs to be higher and 1 needs to be lower. Then outlets go into the tank and secured with silicone and copper adapters attached to the pipes and to the outlets. With the wood fire hot tub ready, I have time to make my little wall and lid for the bath before I test it out. I want to make these last two parts as simple as possible, so I'm just using stakes for the base of my wall. Stakes are very easy to get level. I'm securing the wooden posts I made out of pallets to the stakes with screws. I had it in my head that this was going to be a really tricky job, but I've actually been pleasantly surprised. The reason I left gaps between the panels is honestly just because I didn't have any more long planks, but I actually really like the look.
Oh, I love it, eh?
I'm placing shorter planks across the top of the bath to make the lid. The lid's mainly to keep the heat in, but also to keep the leaves and the dirt out.
I'm gonna go around now and trace around the lip of it so I know where to cut.
I can't decide if I like the natural colour for the lid or if I want to match it to the wall. So I'm just going to sand it and apply a log sealer for now.
That's a real nice tight fit, which is good because that will keep the heat in.
I had these handles and hooks left from my caravan reno, so I'm going to attach them to the lid and to the wall. I wanted to make sure the silicone was set, so I waited until the next day to test the bath. I've honestly been so surprised how simple this setup is, up until now that is. This is what I'm filling the bath up with by doing trips to the pond. Not ideal.
Me luck that it's not going to take a billion of these. I have no idea how big of a water tank that is, so. This is going to take forever. I've had the best idea.
A lot of people ask me how I'm not scared to take on such big jobs with no experience. And I reckon I can answer that question in one little video segment. Here's me just popping down to the dam to fill up my 240 litre bin, convinced it will be easy. See? Easy.
I'm predicting very unfun times ahead. Finally full. And yes, it is dam water. I've just heard the best sound. Bubbling. Can you hear it? It's bubbling!
Now that my fire's roaring and my water's heating, I'm gonna go get ready for the bath.
Let's say the thing that we both know. Gonna take these words and make them stone.
This is so nice. Holy shit.
On the edge
I'm not building a container house anymore. I'm just gonna be here.
The whiskey and the wind are the only sound. Let's make like a tree, grow some roots.